Morning, guys. Happy Monday. I am doing this rather early in the morning, and so everybody is still asleep, and I'm going to try and be clear, loud enough that you all can hear me, but not so loud that I wake up my daughters or my wife, because it's before 6 o'clock in the morning, and everybody's asleep, and I want to try and keep it that way. So here's where we're at. Open up a Bible and let's go to Genesis chapter 6. Okay. I hope that you all are doing well, that you are rested on this Monday morning, and at least somewhat excited for your last week of school. Genesis 6, verse 4. Context. Genesis chapter 6 is the transition to the Noah story. Sin has become such a problem on the earth that God has decided to send the flood, and he is going to save Noah. Well, in introducing Noah to us, we get this mention in chapter 6, verse 4. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went into the daughters of humans who bore children to them. These were the heroes that were of old, the warriors of renown. Okay. We've been talking about this angels and spiritual beings sort of conversation, and we're going to wrap that up a little bit on Wednesday with angels and spiritual beings. But this is an interesting question, because we mentioned in our first video on this that angels seem to be able to interact with people and this realm of existence in some capacity. There is some understanding amongst certain Christians, like guardian angels. They are ministering spirits. They come and they speak with people. Samson's mother sees the angel of the Lord, which is perhaps an appearing of God, not entirely sure. Mary and Joseph have a conversation with an angel. Lot sees a couple of angels. Abraham talks with some angels. And so this isn't foreign to see these sort of spiritual beings who are God's messengers. Remember, the word angel just means messenger. Show up in some interesting ways and interact with human people. On the other hand, what is incredibly interesting is what is going on with this language of the Nephilim in Genesis 6, verse 4. Now, that could be intimately connected to what is happening with the sons of God in that verse, right? The Nephilim are in the land in those days. And then it says, when the sons of God went into the daughters of men and bore them children. And so the question first is, are the Nephilim these sons of God? That's the first question raised by the text. Are the sons of God and the Nephilim the same things, or are they two different groups? If they're two different groups, okay, then the Nephilim, it's a passing mention for context. There are these legendary heroes who are the warriors of renown. They're called the Nephilim. Okay. That means that the Nephilim could be totally disconnected from this idea of the sons of God and the daughters of men. Or it could be that the sons of God and the daughters of men gave birth somehow to the Nephilim, that they're somehow a composite, part sons of God, whatever those are, and part daughters of men. Now, there's a couple of ways to take a look at the sons of God and the daughters of men, and I'm going to highlight them briefly and give you some perspective on this. And then I have a YouTube video for you to watch, because I think it covers this answer really, really well, okay? And I think it's really interesting. It discusses the issues, and it presents what I think is a pretty solid answer from this particular perspective from this professor, okay? So who are the Nephilim? One, the Nephilim could very well be these heroes, these warriors of renown. 2, Nephilim are disconnected from that idea. However, what becomes the question shifts very quickly from who are the Nephilim to the who are the sons of God. Because what we're told in this passage is that the sons of God have relations with the daughters of men, and children are produced. If the sons of God refers to some group of people, then they would have to be understood as some group that is probably doing the things God wants them to do, some righteous group of human beings following Adam. Typically, that is taken to be those individuals who take that view, the sons of God, or this righteous group of human beings. Typically, that is reserved for, quote, the line of Seth, children born to Adam and Eve's son, Seth, right, who they had after Cain killed his brother Abel. So Cain's line would be the unrighteous line. Seth's line would be the righteous line. And so the sons of man, perhaps, would be Cain. The sons of God, because they are righteous, would be Seth. Maybe I don't know that there's enough information to be able to tell. Part of my problem with the idea of the sons of Seth is that we've only really got one. Now, this may be well enough the introduction to that particular individual who happens to be Noah. Noah's from one of the descendants of Seth. And so we could be talking about the sons of God as the descendants of Seth, as a way of introducing us to the descendant of Seth that is going to matter for the story in Noah. And so that could make some sense. The bigger problem I have with the sons of Seth being the sons of God, right, is the idea that despite this idea of a righteous line, the whole world has gone so crazily wrong that God has said, look, it's Noah and Noah's family alone that are doing what I want. And so this idea that there's some sort of righteous descendancy is difficult for me to get my head around, given the context of the Noah story with just how bad it's become. So we'll have to look at that. The other option is that the sons of God in this passage would be the same mention as the sons of God in the text of Job, which would mean the sons of God in this passage might be angelic beings, which would mean that the sons of God are angels, spiritual beings, having relations with human people and producing a sort of hybrid. Now, the ancient world is full of literature that talks about these kinds of people. Hercules, and you have the Enuma Elish. Not the Enuma Elish. That's about the gods and the creation of the universe. Not the Enuma Elish. The Epic of Gilgamesh, where Gilgamesh and people like him are these sort of half divine, half human creatures. And remember, we're talking about spiritual beings here. These are heavenly creatures of some kind, right? That angels is a title that belongs to this class of being. So we also have stories in the Greek myths like Achilles, who's protected, all except for his Achilles, which is odd. And so we have these grand figures throughout history that have this connection to the divine in our myths and in our human stories. And so the question raised here, is the Bible sort of giving a nod that these stories are present because there's some reality to this? Or is there something more going on? And so the question has shifted from who are the Nephilim to who are the sons of God. And the who are the sons of God might answer the Nephilim question. It might be a completely unrelated incident. So here's what I'm going to do. I've sort of introduced it at this point, and I'm going to turn you over to the video that follows, follow the link in the content block and watch the video. Okay. I think the answer is clear. It's articulate. It's well crafted. And I think there's something in that answer in the video that you're going to watch that we can all learn from. Okay. Happy Monday, guys. We will talk again and wrap up our semester on, we'll talk again on Wednesday, and we'll sort of wrap up class content. And then I'll have a specific video for us Friday, a short one for the end of the school year. Okay. Okay. Have a good day, guys. Talk to you soon.